So how about you? How are you allowing yourself to be transformed by the mind of Christ? He says, be transformed by the renewing of our minds. I figure that renewal, that transformation will allow us to adapt like the octopus, allow us to see through different lens, to have the insight, the foresight, the hindsight, the eyesight, to discern what our next move should be. We'll take brilliant moves like Jesus did with that woman caught in adultery. Don't you want that for your walk with God? Don't you want that intimacy, that transformation, that relationship that is so deep? I have a holy dissatisfaction with my current level of intimacy, so I continue to press. So recently I've been thinking about the octopus. How often does anybody think about the octopus? Honestly, I've never thought about it, not till recently. And I think it came by revelation, to be honest with you. I was in the kitchen doing the dishes and my mind just went to the octopus, and I don't even know why, because I don't go around thinking about octopuses. But as I'm thinking about the octopus, I said, let me Google this thing out of the blue. And I learned that the octopus has, I think it was 8 or 9 brains. And then I did a little bit more digging and I realized that it's a thing. A lot of businesses, especially salespeople, adopt the mindset of the octopus. I had no idea. I kid you not. So I'm like, where did this come from? It has to be a revelation. I just chalk it up as a revelation. And I'm really been praying about getting revelations. So I'm wondering, it must be an answered prayer. Revelations. Anyway, the other thing that I discovered is that if I compare the octopus to the mindset of Jesus, I see some similarities. No, I'm not saying Jesus is an octopus, okay? I'm not saying that. What I am saying, though, is that Jesus knows how to make any situation succumb to his will. He commands any situation. And I'm like, Angela, that's what I want from Jesus. I want the power of discernment, that alertness, that insight, foresight, hindsight, all the things. Because Jesus, when he met that woman that they were trying to stone, remember that lady? Because she was caught in adultery, as if she was the only one there. They were ready to stone this woman, everybody. And Jesus just looked at them. And then he just bent down and he started writing in the ground. Isn't that just so sexy? Can we say sexy when we talk about God? I don't know. But to me, that's sexy. And then he just wrote in the ground. And then he goes let anyone who has not sinned cast the first stone. And then he just kept writing. And then the oldest to the youngest started to leave. He didn't hack up himself. He didn't make a big stink. He just asked a question and kept writing. And then he looked up. And then he said to the woman, he saw the woman. He made sure she was seen, that she felt loved, acknowledged, secure. I love that about Jesus. Don't you? Oh. And then he said to her, where are those who condemned you? Who are they? Where are they? And she said, no one. And he looked at her and he says, neither do I condemn you. Go and leave your life of sin. That was it. No more words. Oh my goodness. He adapted to the situation because they were trying to trap him too. Jesus turned it around and he made the situation bow to him. As for me, I am trying to decide how I'm going to allow this current economic atmosphere bow to me so that I don't go off in anxiety situations. I don't become all anxious. People are really anxious out here. One federal worker, because I sell to the federal government, technology, she put her head down, 53 years old. According to her family, she was so anxious and just worked up about the atmosphere and the anxiety-producing environment. She put her head down at her desk, never got back up. She died. So we have to decide How are we going to take on the mindset of the octopus? Because each of their legs or arms represent a brain. And regardless of where they find themselves in the ocean, they adapt and they make it work for them. They thrive, not just survive, they thrive in any environment in the ocean. Can you imagine if we decide to take on the mindset of the octopus? But I think it's even better when we take on the mindset of Jesus. I hope you join me in this press into my relationship with the way I think as it pertains to how Jesus handles situations and how he allows situations to bow to him because he commands the atmosphere. Go ahead, click the link, schedule your personalized, customized consultation, because all we do here all day long is heal, aspire, and grow.